Hello, everyone. It is November 19th, 2025, and I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the show. On today's show, we are going to discuss a little Donald Trump, a little fake media, a little bit of people going crazy, and the mysteries in the sky, among other things. Thank you for joining me. Before we start, I know I have some new listeners, and to people new to this channel, we talk a lot about a lot of far out things on this channel, on this show. So some of the things we talk about are very outside the box. I'll just put it that way. So that's your disclaimer. But I hope everyone's having fun. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're mellow. Hope you're letting go of anger. Hope you're working on yourself. And let's see, it is 5:16 in the evening here in Albuquerque. And the sun went down 18 minutes ago at 4:58, before 5 o'clock. And tomorrow it'll go down at 4:57. And it'll get down to 4:54 p.m. That's when the sun will set every day until December 11th. And then it'll start setting a little bit later. So hope everything's good, people. Hope you're doing well. Hope your health is good. And if you're facing any challenges, I know you will meet them. Everything is cool. Yeah. Well, it's the 19th of November. 19 is one of my all-time favorite numbers. I love that number. And I see some people trickling in. It's good to see everybody. Nate, Call for Zero. Freedom is here. And Saddle Bomb. Great to see everybody. Yeah, we're in the thick of fall. The leaves are yellow, and they're starting to fall down here in Albuquerque. Albuquerque doesn't have much of a fall. It seems to last just a few weeks, but we're in the thick of it right now. Let's get right to the show. Let's start with the good news. Hopefully good news here. Oh, man. Good news. Okay, here we go.
Top of the line. Top of the line.
Just on the rebate checks, sir, how soon could Americans see those checks? Will that be in time for Christmas, holiday shopping?
No, not for this year. It'll be next year sometime.
Do you have a time frame?
No, sometime during the year, next year. It's a lot of money, but we've taken in a lot of money from tariffs. The tariffs allow us to give a dividend.
All right, $2,000. I could use $2,000. Yeah, the president says it'll be in the middle of the year, probably just in time for midterm elections, right? And as cool as $2,000 is, $2,000 is pretty cool. I'm going to shut this story out of my mind. I'm not even going to think about this. It might happen. It might not anyway. But I remember the last time they held a carrot in front of us. Do you guys remember during COVID when they gave us the $600 bonus after like 10 months of debate and talking about it in the news? Maybe. Yeah, no, thank you. We'll skip it. Let's see what's going on in the skies. Look at that. Black colored smoke ring.
We're heading to the other side.
Who's in LA? Jared Jaguar. I wonder if JJ saw this. Do we trust this news story, people? If it's real, if it's a real news story and that's real photography and that's a real strange thing in the sky, that's not the first piece of footage that we've seen of rings in the sky like that. I've seen footage of ring clouds, as some people call them, going one by one in a straight line. Again, if that footage is real, it's really hard to tell what to trust these days. Look at that, right over Disneyland.
We're heading to the other side. Amen.
We're seeing more and more mysteries in the sky, people. They're getting more and more extreme. I'm seeing orbs going slower than ever, brighter than ever, larger than ever, faster than ever. And I've seen a lot of orb clusters. And I think I told you guys about the cluster shaped like a submarine or a cigar, like just going over the horizon about.
Your wallet sucks.
Crazy.
That's why we invented.
Oops.
Editor Mike Rogers at the desk. There's been a mystery off of our coast down near Hermosa Beach in the South Bay. Has residents very confused about this. You see that piece of image there on your screen. It's water bubbling up just off the coast. And I want to come out to the desk here because we've actually got some more video of it. This is drone video of it provided to us by Bo Bridges. And you can see just how close it is. And it has had residents in the South Bay wondering what could be causing that. People jokingly, of course, have surmised that it's aliens or even flatulence from a whale that might be underneath. But we're getting to the bottom of what it actually is. We'll show you some more video here because I want to show you what people are seeing from the shoreline. You can be seen all the way out there and you can see kind of the disruption in the water that is causing all of this. This has been going on for a couple of days now, and it's gotten to the point where even people that live in Hermosa Beach have gotten on paddle boards or have swam out there to try to figure out what it is. Well, we have figured out what it is tonight with some help from the city and the contractor that is doing the work. I want to show you the other video here because SkyCal was out there today and just off the coast.
Okay, that looked pretty strange. Listen to their explanation.
We found this boat. Now, what we know is I spoke with a contractor. These are underwater fiber lines that are being cleaned. And those underwater fiber lines that go basically from Hermosa Beach all the way across the Pacific to Asia. Now, I'm told that these high connectivity lines that run this, there is a new client, Meta, that is going to be added to this line at the beginning of next year. And so what they're doing is preparing for that to happen by cleaning out the lines. And doing so, they're shoving a bunch of air into those lines. The air comes out the other side, and then, of course, gives you that big bubble that has caused so many people some concern. Now, here's another still picture from our friend Bo, who owns a gallery down there. Bo and some other people have thought this was so interesting. They've actually created this. Take a look. This is a wine label. We'll show you the next slide here. This is a wine label that they're putting on a wine bottle that Bo will actually be selling at his gallery tomorrow. Because
Okay, that was pretty strange. And, let's say that their explanation is valid, that they were cleaning out lines of wires that stretch from California to the other side of the world, they tell us. If they were doing that, why didn't they notify people earlier that they would be seeing this mysterious bubble or whatever that was coming out of the ocean? These stories are always so poorly explained.
Imagine your team, only bigger.
Madness in Modesto schools.
man.
Teachers say classrooms are being turned upside down with some.
You guys, we've all seen footage on YouTube of adults tearing restaurants apart, office buildings apart, whatever it is. Now the children are doing it. Look.
students destroying supplies.
What a mess. They say a lack of consequences is even making things worse. Your reporter covering Stanislaus County, Nina Burns, joining us live with the policy they say is now backfiring, Nina.
That's right, Marley and Steve. Now, teachers say the current discipline policy, which is PBIS, is supposed to reward students for good behavior, but they say it has the opposite effect, and it is currently rewarding students for acting out.
This is typical of our TKK classrooms.
Destroyed classroom after destroyed classroom. That's what Modesto City School District teachers say is a common occurrence.
It's a post-COVID world, if you will.
President of the Modesto Teachers Association, Jennifer McGrath, says the trend in violence and destruction in students peaked after the pandemic, when students came back to a different set of rules.
Coming back to school was not easy. And so the school districts had to do a lot of quick fixes to be able to get these kids to come back to school. We kind of lessened a lot of the requirements for the students. And it doesn't take kids long to figure out that if there's a system, they're going to look for the easiest way out.
PBIS, or Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports, is the new norm, instead of what traditionally was suspension.
The children are not learning when they're sent home. They should be in school. And so that's why this practice got put into place. It's an alternative to try to deter behaviors in a positive way.
So when a child destroys a classroom like this, they're sent into the office.
What's been happening is they get counseled, and then they would come back with a bag of chips, or they would come back with a juice box or a prize or something.
Can you guys believe that? In these modern times, a child could physically tear apart the classroom, and then they get sent to the principal's office or wherever it is. And then they come back to the class with a snack or a drink that was given to them by the people that were disciplining them. And all the other kids can see this. You know, it's so obvious that the new rules of the new world are tailor-made to hurt people. And it's the oldest trick in the book. I talk about it every show. It's the easiest, simplest. It's just so simple. The government and the powers that be pretend to help people when they're really hurting people. And that's all it is. It's that simple. Most Americans cannot wrap their heads around this. They cannot admit it. They don't want to admit that something like that could be happening. It is happening, and it's obviously happening.
McGrath says rewards the wrong type of behavior.
So you're reinforcing to the other students, well, bad behavior pays off because that child got a prize.
Bad behavior, an issue many teachers shared during Modesto City Schools' latest meeting.
He has destroyed the classrooms multiple times each day, and he's able to come back to our classrooms where we've had to evacuate our students.
Behaviors like hitting, biting, and twisting fingers of both staff and students or destroying property are being overlooked and given a lighter sentence.
They're scared. Desks get flipped, chairs and objects are thrown, staff and students get punched and kicked, students elope, garbage cans and signs knocked over, bathrooms destroyed, staff and students cussed out.
Issues, McGrath says, were 5 years in the making.
A lot of the norms that used to be in the classrooms, as far as just some basic concepts, responsibility, respect, just following the basic rules, they were out the window.
But she's hopeful the school district and staff will start to work towards a solution. In a statement to CBS 13, Modesto City School District says, "We have heard our teachers' concerns about student behavior, and we want our community to know we are listening. Districts across our state and country are facing similar challenges, and we are working together to strengthen support for both students and staff."
Some things have to change so that we can start educating again.
Now, the district will host meetings to figure out how to solve this problem. But one of the ideas the Modesto Teachers Association is going to bring up is bringing back the code of conduct, something they say has fell to the back burner since COVID.
There's an
This
idea.
Thanksgiving, you can count on Smiths. You get
Bringing back the code of conduct. Well, there's an idea for you.
Into the Family Dollar store in Markleysburg with that black bear right behind him. The bear charged through the front door, sending the boy and the cashier scrambling for cover. That boy is now telling.
All right. Yeah, you know, when I was in elementary school, if a child tore up the classroom, that child would get suspended. No, excuse me, expelled. Expelled. And there would be no other kids joining in because it would be such freakish behavior. And I remember something like this happening uh, in a catechism class at the church that my grandma attended, and she taught catechism, which is like Sunday school. And yeah, and this kid got up and started like tearing things apart. And that kid was sent to the office and probably hit corporal punishment. And then he was gone. But not only that, people in the neighborhood and you know, family members of mine who knew about this, you know, they were talking about it like this is an extreme situation. That kid's possessed by demons. And you know, it was like something that people were talking about. Again, an extreme situation that people remember. Now, it's clearly just a matter of course in the day to day. And in the elementary school I went to, we wouldn't get out of line because we knew that the principal was he was quick to hit kids with they called it swatting. So he would take a swat. And I never got swats. His name was Mr. Walker, by the way. And I talked to a dude younger than me, and he said that his class all called him Swatter Walker. Swatter Walker. My brother got swats from Mr. Walker because he and his friends were goofing around. But I never got swats. I was lucky. But yeah, a code of conduct might come in handy. Let's see what's happening in the chat. What's the weather like, people? What's the weather like where you're at? And what are you eating and drinking? David is here. Welcome. Call for zero. We might see some footage from Call for Zero's channel, and I always appreciate Call letting me use footage from his channel. Of truckers, one more quarter is here. Good to see you, man. Let's see what else. No, I wasn't sick. Do I sound sick? Attempting to lay low for now, seeking stability, sticking with what works. Sounds good, Call? Yeah, strange things. That story of the bubbling up ocean. David says the oceans never did this in my past. And I agree. I mean, never, he said. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's lots of footage, David, all over YouTube. People tearing things apart. One more quarter says government indoctrination facilities post jabbed children. Yeah. That's so right. Saddlebum says, and much worse when you get home, referring to discipline. You know, it was like, geez, I'd rather take the swats than having to face the old man. I'll take Swatter Walker, and and there was, of course, there was rumors about the swats that if you really fucked up, you'd get a swat that it has rusted nails in it, driven through it, a bunch of rusted nails, so that when it hits you, kids actually believed that. But you know, you got to keep the kids in line. Because it is like Lord of the Flies, right? I mean, we've all been in situations in our young lives where, you know, either in childhood or even in young adulthood, where like a mob rules mentality takes over, a gang mentality takes over. It's so easy. Now listen, Dean is here. What's happening, Dean? Freezing. Dean's in the UK. I think I have to write down where everybody's from because I always forget. My apologies. Possible rain in a couple of days in Vegas. Same here. In fact, it already rained a bit today here in Albuquerque. Warm and clear night in Northwest Florida. All right. Says Freedom. Saddlebum says blue light poisoning and screen sickness is causing students to have zero attention span. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was common. Mr. Walker had that too. Freedom says, we got the paddle in school. The principal had the big wooden paddle hanging on the wall in his office. That's how it was in Farmington too, back in the day. Yeah, I think that's common decor in most principals' offices back then. Nate's starting a 3-day fast. All right. Take care of yourself, Nate. David says, weird days, Joe. We got spanked in elementary school and they deal with crap like that immediately. That's true. They wouldn't wait. It was on. Crazy world. Well, letting go of anger is the big thing that I'm into right now. Working on myself, as Jesse Lee Peterson would say. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the goal in life, people, is to eliminate the devils that are inside of us. And that's they come in the form of anger. You know, I'm real big on that right now. And it's not a matter of fighting evil thoughts when they come into one's mind. It's a matter of recognizing the thoughts, but not identifying with them. That's really what it is. Romans 12:2. Romans 12:2 has to do with the cleansing of one's mind. I'm really big on that right now. I'm not going to go on about this because I've been doing that for the past few weeks, but I'm really big on that right now. It starts with forgiving one's parents. Naturally, it would, because when you think about it, we were created by our parents and God, right? Those are the three beings that created us. So we have to apologize to those three beings for the things we did. And we also have to forgive the parents, anyway, for the mistakes they made. You know, and mistakes come from thoughts. Mistakes come from emotion, which come from thoughts. All thoughts are all evil all the time about anything. And letting go of those thoughts, just watching them, don't fight with them. Just recognize that they're there and don't identify with them. Don't associate with them. Let them float off into the nothingness that they are. And what you're left with is a light that's within all of us, and that's God. And that's the way to get close to God. And one can pray, and there's nothing wrong with that. And same with meditation. But the only way to really get close to God is to let go. David says, my aunt who passed away said, an interpretation of Satan is the anger people seem to live in, and they think it's normal. That's exactly right. Power comes from within. Abuse causes fear, which compounds the anger. Yeah. I think people in the modern world are all victims of some sort of abuse or another. It's not easy, and we don't even know why we're here in this physical place, which seems to be a trickster world anyway. If you let it be that, again, there's a way to find light. I really believe that when what a mess. What a mess. What the I think that Christ dying on the cross is a metaphor that we can use to symbolize death of ego and letting go of thoughts. What a mess. I'm going to have to work on my Jesse Lee impression. And also this idea of the second coming of Christ, that Christ will return. To me, anyway, people, I'm using that as a metaphor for myself. The return of Christ equals the return of the light within me. Once I've let go of the anger and become present, and getting back to forgiveness for a second, it's not just forgiving mom and dad, it's forgiving everyone. But start there, start with the parents. But you'll get to a point, I have gotten to a point where it's becoming easier and easier to forgive people because I know that when I've been done wrong by someone, it wasn't them doing me wrong. It was their fake self doing my fake self wrong. It was his devils against my devils, and it doesn't even matter. All that matters is the light within them and within you and within me. That's all that matters. What the? That's powerful stuff. One more quarter. I'll let you guys read that. Yeah. It really is something to come to that realization that I'm not here to change anything. I'm not here to make the world a better place. Man, I think we all know that it would take a miracle to make the world a better place. And how can we create a situation where that miracle can happen? The best way we can do it is to be working on ourselves, on an individual thing. It's individual. If we kill the devils within us and a bunch of people do it, that could open the door for the miraculous. And that's the way to go, people. And we're not going to help this sick world. We can't. We can't even go to the gas station at night anymore. How can we fix this world? Yeah, it's a heck of a thing, people. And on top of everything else, we're being lied to. We're being lied to by the media, the educational systems, the government systems, about what this world is. And through the media and culture, which is mostly created and spoon-fed to people as our social norms, people have been led into a place that's not good. And it's easy for a human being to sin in this world because there's not much to hold on to. So there's all that. That's interesting, Freedom. Freedom says, that's right. The best song that spells that out was Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. Yeah. With those cool Buddy Holly chord changes. I'm standing with the man in the mirror. I'm waiting for him to make that change. Yeah. Something like that, right? Yeah. That's our duty. That's our duty as people. Any cheap jokes, anybody? Anybody got any cheap one-liners? The cornier, the better. or not. Call says, I hear experts on panels say planet and space. Experts, planet, and space are in quotation marks. I hear experts on panels say planets and space 10 times in 3 or 4 minutes. It doesn't matter if you believe in lizards or grays, as long as you know it's a ball. Yeah. The whole flat earth thing was this big psyop also, you know. Most flat earth content creators were not legitimate, you know, and the plan was obviously the plan was to make it explode in popularity, get everyone all worked up about it. Some people were even saying things like, yeah, there's going to be a tipping point. In just a few years, everyone will know this. And then almost simultaneously, all the content creators just ditched it. Took the wind right out of those sails. But yeah, people, modern day research shows that this world is probably flat. It's certainly measurably flat. Okay. And again, just look at the surface of water. You'll never see that curving in real photography or with your own eyes. You'll never see an ocean horizon curve unless it's special effect photography, so to speak. And if we did see curving ocean horizons, there would be a billion plus photographs of that on the internet. Instead, there's only a handful and they all look fake. So there's that. Thank you, One More Quarter. I like that one. I ordered a chicken and egg. I'll let you know which one comes first. Let's find a frozen bent lake. Yeah. Seems like it's all happening at the same time from all different directions. You know, like you could look at the way they lied to us about the shape of the earth. These big lies, outer space. People going to other planets and walking on those other planets, or at least satellites and remote ships, right? And then they lie to us about history, how history can change, which the Mandela effect is. If you're new to this channel and you don't know what the Mandela effect is, that just means when history changes. But of course, that should be impossible. And that means we were lied to about what's possible and what is not possible. You know, and then look at the social things that they usher in, and they tell us this is good and that is good when they're clearly not good. And there's a huge difference between what's going on in the real world that you can see with your own eyes when you leave your house, and what's going on in the world that they present to us. they present it as though these are good times we're living in. And the only way to really get good times in these times is to drop anger, to drop it. To let go of evil and acknowledge that that the devil was inside you just as it was inside your worst enemy. And the devil knows us inside and out. The devil knows how to get to us. You know, and remember Isaiah 55, verses 8 and 9. You are not my thoughts are not yours. I'm paraphrasing. You know, just like heaven is different than earth, I'm different than you. We're not alike. And don't be thinking that we are. We're not alike until you let go of anger. My thoughts are not your thoughts. Yeah, I agree with that, Call. Call says, this road doesn't go anywhere. Stays right here. That's right. That's right. You know, sometimes it feels like we're in for a biblical event and other times not. Other times it just seems like things will just keep on being crazy with older people always being mystified that things are so different now than the way they used to be. And we saw a bit of that from the elders when we were kids, right? But man, if they had seen this world, man, oh man. Why don't we watch a little Jesse Lee Peterson and then we'll call it a night. If you're not in the mood for Jesse Lee, feel free to say goodnight now. Here's people tearing things apart. And we'll just watch a few minutes of this. This is from today's JLP show, and I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know what he's going to talk about right here. But I'll show a little bit of this, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see what Jesse Lee has to say.
It didn't last for long, and then they would go back to the feeling, the thrill of feeling wrong. And so what this guy did was he heard about this wrong club organization called You Were Wrong. No, organization called You Were Right. Even though they were wrong, and this organization for people who were wrong, but they were the organization itself was called You Were Right. And so he went and joined this organization, and that was your friends tell you're right even when you're wrong.
Mostly.
You like that better?
No, I like a little bit of both.
You like to be told you're right even when you're wrong, or you like to be told you're wrong when you're right?
Right.
What a mess.
What a mess.
You don't have to, when you're in pain, when you're having all those stabs of misery, emotions, and worries and doubt and anger and revenge and fear, it's because you are raw. And the sooner you can admit that you are raw, you'll start to change.
That's incredible. That's incredible. You know, even when you when it feels like you're so right and you have righteous indignation, if you're angry, you're wrong.
Misery, emotions. Oh, you like to be told you're wrong when you're right.
Right.
What a mess. You don't have to, when you're in pain, when you're having all those stabs of misery, emotions, and worries, and doubt, and anger, and revenge, and fear, it's because you are raw. And the sooner you can admit that you are raw, you'll start to change. But until that happens, you ain't going to change. You can find all the so-called friends in the world to tell you you're right when you're wrong, and you tell them they're right when they're wrong. Darkness with darkness. Amazing, huh? This video I'm about to show you is, for me, it is extremely interesting in so many ways. If you want to be free, folks, you got to overcome the world inside of you and outside of you. Otherwise, you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. And it's going to only get worse because you will not enter into the new world within this world. There's a world inside of you. There is a world, a new world. It's completed, and all you have to do is live in it. And life will be fun.
This is one of the biggest discoveries the human race could ever have, is to discover this other world that he's talking about, the light that is within all of us that we can access only by forgiving and letting go of anger. And it's easier said than done, but it's also not the hardest thing in the world. It's not.
Not the the miserable fun you have, you call misery fun. This would be like real fun.
And he's right. It is like real fun. It is. And you don't need us the social life that we thought we needed when we were younger. You just need solitude, some peace and quiet, and being present. Being present. Look around. Notice it.
I want to show you this.
Notice your surroundings. Notice your surroundings and really be present.
Video is speaking of Black excellence. Speaking of Black excellence. And this is black on black stuff. And who are you going to blame for that? Who are you going to blame? This is from Fox News. A mother and her son, and her 9-year-old son, were seriously injured during an attack by a group of children.
Okay. I don't know if you guys saw that story. That was a real crazy one. People are getting crazier and crazier. Yeah, in these times, it's really important to stay solitary. A life of solitude and simplicity. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm done preaching for the evening. I'm going to say good night. Let me do a shout out. Everyone who was here, cozy little crowd. Nate was here. Call for Zero was here. Freedom, Saddlebum. Saddlebum's in New Mexico. It might rain in the next few days. Call for Zero's in Vegas, Nevada, the other Las Vegas. David was here. Great to see everybody. I appreciate you all. One more quarter. Yeah. What did the drummer name his two daughters? Anna 1, Anna 2. All right. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'll come at you sometime soon. And until then, have your fun. And thanks for listening to this sermon. We'll talk to you later. Peace and love and rock and roll. Good night.